Some years ago, there was a group of men who decided to build this building. They were almost tarred and feathered and run out of town, but they decided to build this building, a 10-story building on the water. Could never happen again. We now own this building free and clear, and the rents and the revenue from this building trickle down in various ways to the chapter, and from the chapter, part of it comes to the AGC Education Foundation.
Well, the building was built in 1971, and we ran out of money, had to pass the hat. We raised $750,000 from the members in 2 weeks just to keep the building going. It was an interesting time.
Yes, Bob Landau, of course, Larry Johnson, Don Bosick, and a few years later, probably Bob Leary. Those are the ones I remember as the prime instigators of it.
The year I was president, 1979, the building was called the Northwest Construction Center, and a little sign with 6-inch letters, and I got the idea of putting big letters AGC on the 4 parapets of the building, and we did that. And that was kind of my legacy to the building, and I'm probably the youngest guy that was involved in the construction of the building originally. If you walked into the building, you probably saw that fountain, and that was Larry. Larry designed that. He's a civil engineer. He designed that fountain, and that's the past president's fountain.
But it was a wonderful move to get this building in this location. We were undoubtedly the last building that was built over water in Seattle.
Well, about 3 or 4 years after I was chair, I think Chris Clark was president of AGC, and they decided, or they had discussed, whether they would just discontinue trying to have it because it wasn't doing anything. And one of our other members, Bob Leary, raised his hand and said, hey, before we get rid of the foundation, let's put a task force together and see if we want to do that or want to continue it on. And they had some of our very significant members at the time. I think a fellow named Terry Deeney was one of them. Bob Leary certainly was, and there were 3 or 4 others that met and decided, no, it was worthwhile to have a foundation which would support the industry, promote scholarship in the industry, and generate funding for special programs in the high schools and down in the junior highs and elementary schools.
This year is the 35th anniversary for the Ed Foundation. The officers and the board unanimously agreed to establish an AGC of Washington endowment in celebration of that, which coincidentally happens to be the 35th named endowment for the AGC Ed Foundation.
The fact that the AGC Education Foundation is 35 years old this year is amazing to me. You think of the amount of help that it's provided to people, again, in the 3 main areas of education, the lives it's changed.
And if you think back on it, how society and the workforce has changed in those 28 years that I've been involved in it, it's not your same workforce by any means.
It must make the current staff here feel proud and very satisfied about what they're doing. It certainly makes us supporters feel good.
The foundation was originally formed with the thought that it would support training for AGC members and college student scholarships.
The industry was getting more complicated all the time. You know, the regulations, et cetera, from the government, as well as all the new technology that was coming out.
It was going from a lever operated equipment out in the field to computerized equipment out in the field.
The thought, I guess, was to try to help our members and others in the industry keep abreast of all these changes.
I don't believe that that value and goal has ever changed, but that we just keep looking for new ways, new and better ways to improve on that and to further the educational process with our field employees.
Well, my connection to the foundation goes back a lot of years, and I was honored to be one of the ones that had the opportunity not only to be part of its founding and not only to be one of the ones that discussed its mission, but also to be able to financially support this fledgling idea of a foundation for the AGC.
If you're a aging industry leader and you look back over your career, you go, I was a very, very, very lucky person. And what factors contributed to that? And education and learning along the way and bringing people into your organization who got education and learned along the way. That all contributes to your success. And the foundation is doing so much more that its viability is unquestioned.
I think what's unique about the AGC Education Foundation is the focus on developing careers within the construction industry, thinking about enhancing the careers that are already established, but also making the career attractive to young individuals.
As I understand today, I think we've got a group right next door that are elementary school kids that are learning all about construction so that they will think about it in their high school years and get interested in it when they go to college.
The foundation has partnerships with the UW, with WSU, with Central Washington, partnerships that change as the need changes. And so it gives them the opportunity to get certificated in project management and the like, where they can get into the construction industry.
I worked for a Bellevue-based general contractor that felt it was necessary for you to be an SDP graduate from the AGC prior to being a superintendent in their eyes. Therefore, the drive, and they paid for my classes, was part of my professional development.
Bob McEachran talked me into applying and said, hey, apply for a scholarship over there. So I made my application and it got interviewed with the AGC Ed Foundation, and from then on the check was in there was a check and my tuition was paid the rest of my school. Bob used to come visit me over at Washington State, and he'd bring me out to job sites and became a real mentor.
In high school, I was always interested in construction, I just was never good at school. Once I did graduate high school, which I graduated late, I applied to Central Washington University, got connected to the AGC Education Foundation through our AGC club. I learned about the scholarship application, which I applied for and was lucky enough to earn. So as an intern at Selin, I am responsible for some things that are very important to the project.
Coyote Central started in 1986. We work with middle school age kids, 10 to 15, in any creative endeavor, hands-on work with professionals in creative fields. AGC Education Foundation has been a supporter of what we do with kids around construction and metalworking. And AGC Education Foundation has supported our purchase of equipment, and that's been really valuable funding for us.
If I had ever imagined that the foundation would, over 2 or 3 decades, have awarded nearly $700,000 in scholarships, think of the people's lives that are changed by that.
And probably during that same time, we probably had grants and other programs totaling a couple million.
Once you receive the scholarship, you're a recipient, and now you can take that to kind of another level because you're part of this group of people who have received scholarships, and it's kind of an honor that way.
It's just gonna keep following me. It's always gonna be there, and it's gonna be that push that I needed. So when I'm, 50 years old, whether I be a project executive or a project engineer, I'm going to know that I wasn't able to get there without the AGC Education Foundation.
You know, it's important to have a foundation, especially in an industry that needs to promote itself. Construction makes a very good living for many people that are in it. And by giving back to the industry and the community and generating future construction employees and partners and business owners is very important. And the way to best do that is to provide scholarship when these young men and women are in college, so that they will become interested and learn about it and then go into the construction industry.
It's a rich field and a complex field and a fascinating field for any kid, any boy or girl that may have math abilities or feel that they like to work outside or be outside, that likes to be with people. As I look back and as I take a look at the young people that I've seen leave that program and get into the industry here, I think it's been wonderfully successful.
My dream for the Education Foundation would be to try to turn around the stereotypical understanding of a construction worker as a uneducated individual. This is a career to be chosen and can be very positive and a rewarding professional trip versus the way that we're looked at.
My vision for the foundation would be that every high school student in the area of our chapter or the state is at least exposed to the opportunity that the construction industry offers.
Is to keep educating the teachers, the school districts, the children, everybody.
There is no more of a dream that I have to double and triple the ability that we have to stay relevant and to ensure that there are courses that change with the times.
I think one of the other things that I think would be really cool would be if we had a construction academy. If we had something where there was a high school where individuals could go that would prepare them, whether it's engineering, architecture, construction, management itself, but would prepare them for college or the ability to go out on the job. And I think that would make us incredibly relevant.
And I'm looking forward to being able to take it to the next level and have meaningful scholarships going to more schools, more trade schools, and really kind of bringing it up a notch, making sure everyone gets a chance to get involved with this industry.
Me and the company stay involved for selfish reasons, because the educational abilities that we provide for the people that go through the program and the people that are helped by a scholarship gives Ferguson Construction Company a better and more highly educated employee when they finish their program.
To work on the board is just amazing. Every time I go to the meetings, I sit there and look around the room, and it's just they're legends in our industry. And to be able to talk to those guys and hear their ideas, you can learn so much from their knowledge and their insight. It's amazing. They all realize what they've gained from the industry and want to give it back.
There's a great deal of satisfaction in giving back to an industry that has been so good to me. High school graduate, not that great of a student, went right to work in the trades, and have worked myself up through the level to superintendent and running major projects in Seattle. What blows my hair back is being in the classroom when I actually see the light goes on, when I've made a difference in a student's life, if you will, by imparting enough information that something he had little or no understanding of, all of a sudden he feels a lot more relaxed and gains that confidence of knowledge. that's what I want to do.
So I want to be that person that gets somebody like me who has no hope and get them into college and get them into a great career. I want a scholarship to be my name, to have my name on it and somebody receive that scholarship.
Well, for me, being the first recipient of a foundation scholarship, it was huge, and the AGC Foundation seemed willing to take a risk with me. I would like to pass that along, as they say, pass it forward. I can think of no better way to participate in legacy than through the foundation, or making that an important part of my legacy.
My wife and I have a named endowment. It makes sense. It's time to give back and understand how it comes full circle. And it was neat because the recipient this year received our scholarship and also Bob McEachran's scholarship.
The industry is a giving industry. I mean, the construction industry, and particularly my experience with the AGC, it's just been unbelievable how much they're willing to give back.
The AGC Education Foundation was that step that I needed, and they gave me that little push, and with this scholarship that I earned, it's all I needed, and I'm very thankful for that to anybody involved and everybody within the industry.
So I'm not positive what the next 35 years will bring, other than I know that if I keep staying involved and I keep working hard, then it'll be a big part of my life moving forward.
The industry is very fortunate that they have our foundation, whether you're a member of the AGC or not.
So I think in terms of 35 years, just the beginning.